for very understandable reasons. We spend an enormous amount of energy, day in and day out, trying to make sure that we come across to other people as sane, balanced, and normal. It's a full-time job, really, this careful curation of our public selves. We build a facade, brick by brick, made of cheerful greetings, confident handshakes, and polished social media profiles that showcase only our triumphs. We become masters of the phrase, "I'm fine, thanks, how are you?" Even when inside, a storm is raging. We know the reality is a little biter, perhaps a lot more complicated, but for much of our lives, we're remarkably successful at keeping matters more or less under wraps. There may have been a few extreme moments, small cracks in the armor that no one else witnessed. Those private soliloquies on our own in the bedroom after a devastating day, staring at a reflection that feels like a stranger. The muffled sobs into a pillow in the bathroom, hoping the running water will drown out the sound of our unraveling. The white-knuckled grip on the steering wheel while driving in a car, screaming into the void of the highway. Or the hollow feeling of coming home late on an empty train, the city lights blurring into a meaningless smear through teary eyes. But generally we have managed. We'll have drawn tight boundaries around these crises, compartmentalized the pain, and to the outside world, no one will have known. Our performance of normalcy remains intact. But then, if we're unlucky, and probably if we're just human, life will inevitably decide to test us more than this. It doesn't ask for permission. At some stage, we will end up in a situation that is not just a crack, but a seismic event. A force that blows apart our normal abilities to cope, which systematically destroys our capacity for perspective, for reason, calm, and mastery. It feels like a slow-motion avalanche, one we see coming but are powerless to stop. It might be something at work, a project failure, a sudden redundancy that strips away not just our income, but our identity. It could be in our relationship, where the silence between two people becomes heavier than any argument, signaling an end we can't bear to face. It might be a financial or a health issue, a diagnosis that rewrites our future in a terrifying new language, or a debt that feels like a physical weight on our chest. It could be something to do with reputation, a mistake that threatens to erase all the good we've ever done, or with a family responsibility that has grown from a duty into an impossible, crushing burden. As the problem continues to grow, as the days bleed into weeks, we will realize with dawning horror that we are in uncharted waters. The maps we use to navigate life are now useless. We are entirely, profoundly overwhelmed. The fortress of self-reliance we spent a lifetime building has crumbled, and we are left exposed in the rubble, realizing we don't know whom to turn to. The silence that follows this realization is the most terrifying of all. Sadly, in this profound isolation, it isn't uncommon that our thoughts may eventually grow very dark indeed. When pain feels infinite, the mind, in a twisted act of self-preservation, begins to seek a finite solution. In our private, silent agony, we may start to entertain the thought, a whisper at first, that it really would be better if we didn't exist. That there might be only one way, one final door, to stop the relentless pain. If we're to survive, and there truly may be nothing less at stake, we're going to need to be very brave. Not the bravery of epic poems, but a quiet, trembling, gut-wrenching bravery. We're going to need to do the one thing our pride, our fear, and our entire life's training screams against. We must break the isolated habits of a lifetime and take someone else into our confidence. Every impulse may tell us to manage things alone. We're trained to fear confession as a sign of weakness. We are experts in not revealing our vulnerabilities, in maintaining the strong front. But at the same time, we have to recognize that we don't have a choice any longer. The strategy of solitude has failed. We might not make it if we don't speak. This is not surrender. It is a strategic retreat from a battle we cannot win alone. And so, with a heart pounding in our chest, we may simply have to pick up our phone and write a message or a letter a bit like this to someone close to USA, sibling, a parent, a friend whom we hope never to have to depend on to this extent. The words feel heavy and foreign as we type them. I'm so sorry to bother you with this. Something a bit difficult's come up. Please forgive me for taking up your time. I thought I could cope, but I can't. I'm feeling overwhelmed and didn't know whom to turn to. The reality is that we may not have an ideal friend in the vicinity. There is no perfect savior waiting in the wings. Perhaps the person we've picked is a little goofy and always tells jokes at the wrong time. Or they're easily scared and we worry our darkness will frighten them. Or they're just so busy and we feel guilty for adding to their load. But we can't wait for perfection to arrive. We need another mind, any other mind, to help us where our own has short-circuited and faltered. So we continue, pressing send before we can second-guess ourselves. I wonder if I might drop in on you after work? Or perhaps we can have a call one evening. We may, in any case, be vastly underestimating what they can deal with. We may have colluded with them for years to keep matters fun and superficial, sticking to safe topics like movies and weekend plans. But they, like we, will have their own hidden complexities. They have their own under-wraps moments. They may be far more adept at navigating the messiness of life than we imagine. We may be very surprised by the depth and strength that others can show us when we finally give them the chance. I hope this isn't too surprising. I'm sure I can get through this, but right now I'm a bit at sea. The price of survival we must accept has to be a drop in pride. It is the toll we pay to cross the bridge back to safety. They'll have to see us crying, our face blotchy and our voice cracking. They'll have to know we've done a foolish or embarrassing thing. We'll have to show them that we are not the coherent, capable person we always wanted to be. We'll need to admit to our confusion, our deep sorrow, and our paralyzing guilt. It's hugely awkward, intensely vulnerable, and absolutely not our first choice. But if we act, we'll have a chance to reach our 80s and maybe, just maybe, see some grandchildren. We might add one last line, full of the shame we're trying to overcome. I wish I didn't have to bother you. But here we underestimate a beautiful truth about human nature. How much we all, secretly, love to be needed. How much we long to be able to genuinely help another person as a way to make ourselves feel less useless and alone in this vast world. In a strange and beautiful paradox, by asking for rescue, we may almost be doing someone else a favor, rescuing them from their own sense of isolation and empowering them to be the hero they didn't know they could be. I can explain properly when I see you. And when that meeting happens, there will probably be tears. The story, when we eventually narrate it, will come out in broken pieces. We'll feel pathetic, a failure. But any kind onlooker, any true friend, will not see weakness. They will simply see someone being touchingly, breathtakingly brave. They will see a warrior, bloodied but still standing. With any luck, the friend will know, more or less, what to say. And even if they don't, their presence alone will be the antidote. They don't need to have the solutions. They just need to listen. The confession itself will help hugely. The act of externalizing the chaos gives it shape and makes it manageable. Some perspective will be found, and the friendship, once built on laughter and light, will now be forged in the fires of honesty, becoming deeper and more resilient than any we've yet had. We'll eventually be able to look back on this nightmarish period with a shudder, but also with immense, soul-deep gratitude. We have learned the most important lesson of all. We are not designed to keep it all to ourselves. And almost without knowing it, a shift will occur within us. We'll start to offer gentle suggestions to others. We'll listen more intently. And we'll let them know, through our quiet confidence, that we would be someone to talk to during the worst days of their lives. We become a lighthouse for others because we, too, have navigated that storm. Years from now, the memory of that darkness will have softened. It will no longer be a source of shame, but a quiet testament to our own strength. We will see the scars not as marks of failure, but as proof of our resilience and the foundation of a deeper empathy for others. We will look at our life, the one we fought to keep, the one that now includes those grandchildren we once only hoped to see laughing in the sun, and understand that our greatest moments of connection were born from our deepest moments of vulnerability. The storm passed, and in its wake, it left not a ruin, but a richer, more compassionate, and profoundly beautiful landscape of a life fully lived. If this exploration of vulnerability and human connection resonated with you, please consider subscribing to our channel. We are dedicated to creating more content that delves into the important ideas of life, helping us all to understand ourselves and one another a little better. Thank you for watching.